What do you think a resident who has a group disability policy available to them should do differently than a resident who does not? Clearly, the one who does not needs to buy an individual private policy. But what about the one that has a policy? Should they still get an individual policy? Should they buy a smaller policy? Should they get it later in residency? What recommendation do you have for them?
So first off, when a residency offers you a group disability policy, you have no choice but to accept it. So it's an involuntary policy that requires 100% participation. So it's not even an option whether you can opt in or opt out. Now, typically, these policies are quite inferior in nature. It's a $2,000 a month benefit. It's taxable. It's not own occupation, has a 6-month wait. So it's not truly a reliable type of coverage. However, for a cost conscious or a budget conscious resident, my recommendation would be to buy a smaller policy. Let's say as a resident, you're eligible for $5,000 a month, but you've got a $2,000 or a $2,500 a month residency policy, then purchase a $2,500 private policy. Get something in place. The reason being, if you buy a policy, you will have the guaranteed ability to increase that policy up to $20,000 to $30,000 a month as an attending. So it doesn't matter as much whether you start at $2,500 a month, $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month. So purchase what you can afford. But do something. Don't leave it to a chance, because if you're going to wait till the very end of your residency and you end up with as much as if you're even symptomatic, the insurance company will take that into consideration and either end up giving you a big exclusion or a modification or even declining your policy, depending on what you're experiencing in terms of symptoms or a diagnosis. So a group policy, good because it's free, not quite reliable, but definitely gives you the leverage to buy a smaller policy versus someone who has no coverage at all, who would need to probably buy a bigger policy.
The hosts of the YQA Investor Podcast are not licensed accountants, attorneys, or financial advisors. This podcast is free entertainment and information only. It should not be considered professional or personalized financial advice. You should consult the appropriate professional for specific advice relating to your situation.